Welcome to it. This is Curse of the Creative. Back after a long time, we've been having a good time. This is the Radio Promotions Podcast from the creative team at Ultimate Media. Where have we been? Well, we had a little thought to go, hey, maybe we should start doing video. Then we realized, no, we're radio people. We should do audio. Plus, I'm super ugly and you do not want to put your children through that. So here's what we do on this short little podcast is that we come up with a radio promotion idea so that you don't have to. We got the creative team in with us. Each one of us gives an idea. They've got up to 2 minutes to pitch the idea, and the rest of the team decides, are we going to flight the idea, meaning it goes straight to air? Do we park it, which means we got to think of something better, or do we flush it straight down the toilet? I've got Nick and Bongani with me. We're going World Cup themed, right? Because it's middle of the World Cup season. As you start, we're right in the thick of the action as we record this. So we're giving you a couple of promotions that you can run on your radio station, your podcast, your YouTube channel, even some fun ideas for your listeners. So first up in the hot seat on this episode, the only person in the hot seat on this episode is Nick. Your clock starts now.
I'm calling this the shootout, okay? And every single day live on air, we are having a penalty shootout. Listener versus listener, 3 shots each. Will you score? The highest score wins. What, you may ask? You get to come back the next day and defend your title. If by the end of the FIFA World Cup 2026 you are the overall winner, meaning you have defended your title each and every day up until the end of the FIFA World Cup 2026, that last winner, i.e. the final of the shootout, walks away with a huge cash prize. You're probably sitting there like, oh, what if I lose on the Tuesday and I want to come back the next Wednesday? If you lose, you immediately go back into the pool of random draws, and you could get back on air to defend, to maybe take the title from someone who's holding the title. Every day we tune in the shootout, 1v1 in a live penalty shootout, and let's see who wins every single day. That's it.
Bongani, are you good at penalties?
Not really. Never took any penalties on my playing days.
Not the designated penalty taker. Can I tell you my claim to fame? I once in a 5-a-side charity tournament, I saved a penalty from a Kaizer Chiefs player. Not hard, you may think, but
athlete.
That is my claim to fame. I won't name him. I won't name him for shame.
No, you have to name. You have to name him now, Paulo. You have to name him now. Sorry.
At least he wasn't a bad player. Daniel Cardoso was Chiefs. He was.
That's a good save, dude. That's a good save. I like that.
And I once Brian Beloy told me I'm a pretty good goalkeeper, so I'll also take that. But no excuse just to put that into the conversation. So Bongani, Nick's penalty shootout. Are you flighting, flashing, or kicking it into touch?
I don't think I heard him right. The penalty shootout, is it more of a quiz?
No, it's an actual shootout. So I'm going to shoot left. I'm going to save center. And then if a person scores left, if a person shoots left and the keeper saves center, they score a point. If the keeper manages to save it, then they score a point. So a lot of the stuff is done off air in terms of submitting the moves, because if you have 2 people on there saying, I'm going to shoot left, well, obviously I'm going to save left. So they lock in their moves before we go live. And then it's all about the theater of the mind, the stadium, the commentating, all that kind of stuff. And it runs every single day up until the end of the FIFA World Cup.
So you've got a pre-qualification, right? So you basically submit your 5 penalties or your 3 penalties, whatever. I'm going left, top right, whatever. And then the counter is the keeper. And you match them up and nobody knows what the other one's doing except the on-air team.
Exactly, yeah. So we have you on air and we kind of say, okay, what's your move? Oh, I'm going to shoot left, and the goalkeeper or nominated goalkeeper goes, well, I try to save center on the first one. Oh, that's a goal for you. You get a point. If the keeper saves, they get a point as well. And the most points then comes back the next day to defend their title.
So before we kind of decide if we're flighting, flashing, or parking, there's a bit of a cheat here because, Nick, you are running this and trying this on air. The one thing that would concern me is the amount of work that the people have to do beforehand. How are you finding people responding to it? Are they understanding it straight away? Or is it like there's a lot of hit and miss, excuse the pun, behind the scenes?
So initially, definitely hit or miss. It sort of took one session of doing it to realize that we had to get voice notes. What we're doing currently on the show is that you tell us your name, where you're listening from, and your 3 moves. And then I describe the 3 moves you could go with, either left, right, or center. You could shoot center, center, center. You could goal keep left, right, center. And that's actually really been a great entry. One, it allows us to, you know, if I say, what was your first move? And he's like, goes left. I'm like, no, you said in your voice note it was right. And I can play the voice note back to them to remind them of what they said. So that kind of solve has allowed then a much smoother transition live on air.
I think it kind of like points to the, that some promotions need to be heard a few times on air to stress test it, you know, like you can have I think for anyone brainstorming, you've got the greatest idea in the boardroom or, you know, in the kind of green room as you're thinking of it. But once you get to air, you've got to adjust it a little bit and work with people. And just one of those is like an idea might take a few days. And also your audience are going to dictate how they want to do something. So it's to be open and flexible. Bongani, what are you doing? Flight, flash, or park?
Can I please park this one? Because on my side, on my own, I'm not saying everyone will think so, but it seems like the station is cheating a little bit, because now I submit and then they now come back and decide which side they want to jump to, left or right.
Valid points. I do understand that there's a sense of transparency that I'm not 100% sure about. Of course, there's a little bit of jiggery pokery in the background. I would have parked it as well if you had told me up front, but since you are flighting it, I mean, who am I to not flight it? I mean, and I think the less than that's a long flight. That is a long haul flight all the way.
We went across the world with that flight. I don't know if you had the beef or the chicken, but it was pretty nice. Let me tell you, the beef was great. Yeah.
The fact that you are on air with it already, but I think the lesson to learn from there is that, you know, adapt with what your audience wants, right? I mean, let the idea, let it go to air. Don't you know, kill it on the first try, and then, you know, get it right to something that works for your show and for your audience.
No, exactly. So yeah, we went through it, and I think this is also, and it's a great point, Paolo, for anyone who's on air and listening to this right now. You know, we take for granted how adaptive our listenership is. We get stuck over years and years, especially when you get to commercial stations. You're seeing now even more so, 10, 12, 15 years, some breakfast and drive shows are on air for. And you get into this repetitive nature that, oh, my audience is only capable of understanding this game this way. It's a quiz. It's a pick your favorite. It's a this, it's a that. But once you actually start to investigate, don't take for granted that your audience is adaptive and they can actually react to your things. You can quite literally push them in a certain way. And yes, like for me in this case, I had to stress test it, and I was very stressed while stress testing it. But I said to myself, Nick, get uncomfortable, see how people react, to the point where actually after the show, we sat with the 2 players who played on that day live, well, not live on air, off air, but I sat with them and I said, okay, what did you enjoy? What didn't you enjoy? And then through that process, we then got to a more refined version. And yes, you know, at commercial level, sometimes it's too late, you know, to get to that point, but don't be afraid to try something just because you think it won't work. Eventually you'll figure it out. Hopefully you've done that before you go on air, but there is this, you know, play-by-play book that, their audiences can only do one thing. Don't lie to yourself. Try something, get uncomfortable, and see what comes out at the other end.
And you'll get the right people on eventually. You know, it's not going to be for everybody, but ultimately you got to get the people that get it. You know, and some people get this, some people get other things, and that's what you got to look for. Great live learning moment for all of us here. This is Curse of the Creative, the radio promotions podcast from the team at Ultimate Media.